right.
Welcome to another question and answer. Here we are, a lot happening again at the shop. I'm so busy, I can't even believe today is Thursday. It seemed like Monday. It seems like it's Monday. I mean, it's been a lot going on. I wanted to start out with showing you something really cool. I had 5 bentwood chairs come to me. They were in tough shape. They needed to be glued. These are very nice chairs, very beautiful chairs because they're small and they're strong usually. But what happened was they were caned. The caning has been destroyed for a long time. The last upholsterer, with the customer's advice, actually had a cushion, like a 3-inch box cushion on top here, and had it strung up to the caning that had been failing, with the customer's goodwill, so we decided that we're going to do a little different and try to make it a little bit more custom, a little bit scaled down. I mean, it was too high, and so I had my woodworker, and tell you, the woodworker did a fantastic job because every one of these bentwoods is a little different. Different shapes. I mean, I'm gonna show you this one. This looks circular, and it is somewhat, but there's one that was almost oval, and I'm gonna show you that. This one almost had an oval shape to it, so each one was marked. Each one had to go in the exact same space. I had to upholster them, and I think I really minimized the upholstery on these, and the customer picked out the Ultra Suede. I think the Ultra Suede is perfect for these chairs, but look at the low profile on these. So the reason these are important to the customer, she lives in a very small apartment, and these fit around her small dining room table very nicely, and they're strong. You sit on these, and so you're going to feel like you're not going to fall off. They're really beautifully done, so I'm really proud of these. And I'm going to show you a couple other things, but feel free to jump in there with your questions. That's what it's all about here live. And as usual, we're going to have the segment coming up with Jimmy that you guys, I hope you'll like it. And we want some feedback about Jimmy. We got some questions too about Jimmy that we're gonna be answering hopefully. So I did want to mention a couple of things. We are really excited about the off-site classes that we have, and we've had some requests on different times. We're over at Waltham Street, 130 Waltham Street in Lexington, Massachusetts at the Arts and Crafts, and they have been a warm welcome for us over there for Broadway Upholstery School to come in there. We have beautiful studio space over there, and we have had a request for a couple of things. We want to do a one-night class over there, like usually on a Friday or Saturday night. Hopefully we can have a little wine and cheese, and almost like a date night for people, I think. And it's going to be a one night. We have the ottomans ready for you. You bring your own fabric and your own wine, and you upholster the ottoman, and you walk out with it at the end of the night. So we're working on that, and I got really excited to let you know that in May, we're going to be offering a class for a nonprofit that helps women in Africa at the mudcloth fabrics that they make. And we're really excited about offering a one-night class for the ladies to come in and upholster those for charity. If you want to take a look at what I'm talking about, you can go on our Broadway Upholstery School. Just punch in, what is it, mudcloth, Patrick?
Yep, we have a video about it on YouTube.
We have a video on YouTube about it.
Mudcloth ottoman.
Mudcloth ottoman. I would advise you to go on there and take a look at what we're doing with that. We're always happy to help nonprofits, and we're really excited about the potential to help this particular nonprofit even more. They just so happen to be in the same town that we're teaching in, so I'm really excited about that. A lot of things happening besides the custom work. And so before we get going, I want to show you a couple of things that...
Make sure you mention the online classes, man.
Oh, the online classes. There's a new online class. You guys definitely should check it out. It's an arts and crafts chair that Jimmy has done. He labored on this. And, guys, we designed the online classes, I should say. I hope you guys are enjoying them. But they're designed to be a little slower. They're designed to show what an apprentice goes through in their quest to become a professional upholsterer. And I think with the questions that they ask, I think that I've mentioned this before, even if you're a seasoned upholsterer, I think that you can get some information, some good information out of these online classes. I really have a lot of faith in them and belief that they have huge amounts of content. We've heard back from people that have told us so. So we're really excited about this class. It's all these, so far, the furniture that we've had on featuring has been all really varied, and that's what we're trying to do. We don't want to show too much of, the same thing. Which brings about, I want to ask our camera person. Jimmy is in the audience as usual. Jimmy, are you?
Yeah, again, I'm way back in here. Actually, I think I'm near the roof again.
So we're going to turn around to show our vast studio audience, and more importantly to show, sorry Jimmy, to show up another piece of furniture that has been a long time in the making that we're working on. It's a Victorian tufted settee, and it's an original. It's like from 1820, and I don't know if you could swing around and take a look at that, Michaela. I'm finishing it up. It's taken a long time. I have I think there are like over 100 buttons in this. They're very small tufted areas or distance between each button. It's really been a long process. So
100 buttons, Kevin.
yeah, we got about 100 buttons in that.
Wow.
100 tufted buttons. It's not just you're putting a button over fabric. And I think, so yeah, that's good. That's in the works.
Now, do you have a video on the tufted buttons?
I think we have a video. Patrick, do we have a tufted, how to do tufting? Yes,
I mean, we had an A to Z project on there, that sofa, remember that?
That's right. We
Okay.
People should check that out. It's very popular.
I mean, that's classy. When I see that type of furniture, I mean, I know it's older and everything. It shows a distinct style of class.
But you know, Jimmy, the one we feature on Broadway Upholstery School on the YouTube is a little different in the tufting. This is a traditional horsehair tuft. Okay,
Right.
you can see the horsehair fabric over here.
Okay.
Originally horsehair tuft, and when I say horsehair tuft, I mean underneath is horsehair, and also the fabric that they use was horsehair. So this is a real traditional. Now the one on the Broadway Upholstery School is the tufting of this far part, and they're what we call casual tuft, meaning that you don't get these defined. By the way, this is not the final product. I have to go over this all again to get even tighter with my pleats, but I will each one. The tufting that you see today in stores is usually done with foam, and there's no way you can come out with a product like this with foam. No way.
Well,
Foam
you
doesn't
would
do
think
it.
that it wouldn't last.
Well, yes, that's right, because it's loose. But also, Jimmy, foam, no matter what type of foam you're using, it's going to be loose. The pleats are going to be loose. There's no really good way of tufting or traditional way of tufting with foam.
Okay.
So that's the bottom
So what do
line.
how do they do it then? I mean, to get all the, I mean,
You don't.
You
They
don't.
They don't.
But I've got
They-
a question about the
Sure,
horsehair.
yeah.
How is it they spun this the way they did?
Well, they use the hair that they use would be from the mane and the tail
Okay.
to get it, and it comes very short, narrow. It doesn't
So
come
it's-
like 54 inches.
Oh, okay.
So that explains that. Some horses do grow long body hair, so
Right.
that also they can get some portions of it, I think, from the hair from the body. So,
Okay.
yeah. But our horsehair that we get to stuff with is definitely shaved from the body
Okay.
because it's shorter hairs,
Right.
and that's what gives you the spring.
Ah, okay.
And coconut fiber does the same. We're going to get to the coconut fiber in a little while with Jimmy's project his current project that he's working on. But right now we're going to switch back over here, and we'll get to you in a minute, okay, Jimmy? We won't forget you.
Oh, Kevin, you can forget about me.
So I did want to go over a couple of other things before we get to Jimmy. We have some questions for Jimmy, believe it or not.
Oh, no, not that.
And but before we get to that, somebody asked question and answer. And this is related to the tufting, I guess. What of all the uses of buttons? There are many uses now that I think of the buttons. One would be the tight tufting that you see on that Victorian piece. The other one would be casual tufting that you see on our video that we feature on YouTube. Another one would just be simply putting buttons through fabric and having what they call a button back. Another use for buttons is on the front of an arm with pleats. A lot of times you could put a button in the middle of the pleat work, which is a little tough to do. Someday I'll show you that. I don't think we have a video about that. What other use? Buttons in cushions. You can put buttons in cushions. I don't recommend buttons in seats. You know, so what else? I think that's about it. You know, so there are many uses for buttons. So that's a good question. And then somebody asked, and as usual, your live questions will take precedent, even over Jimmy.
What?
Somebody
I thought it
asked,
was the star of the show there.
do you do a repair work on upholstered items? Yeah, we do. We can repair springs. We can repair springs without reupholstering. We can fix some cat damage areas. We can take an outside back and use it to repair an arm or something like that. So we do. We try to save furniture as much as possible. So before we get going on other segments, I want to show you guys. I had a cushion come in, and the cushion, they wanted a throw pillow actually. This is a little unusual. The customer brought their own loose Dacron with them, and they wanted me to fill this cushion. So I want to show you guys how to fill a loose cushion Dacron. And dawned on me that a lot of you guys out there, a lot of you hobbyists, probably when you go to like a craft store, that they have a bag of Dacron maybe, or you have leftover Dacron. Make sure that if you have the leftover Dacron, it's not bonded Dacron. You can't do this with bonded Dacron. It has to be loose Dacron that's not been glued. That's the difference between loose Dacron and bonded Dacron, is that it's got like a light gluing on it, and that's what sticks it together and makes it a little firmer. So you don't really want to use it for this purpose. But the customer has their own loose Dacron. Okay, loose Dacron comes. It reminds me a lot of times of horsehair, because horsehair comes clumped. You know, so oftentimes you have to be picking the horsehair, right? And it's the same thing with bonded Dacron. You want to pick a handful at a time, right? And I'm going to start up at the corner. Now this is a picked piece of Dacron, right? I'm going to stuff the corner, my left corner here, with my fingers, and then I'm going to just pick that a little bit. There's a little clump there, and come on this side. And then I'm going to do a little work here. Another handful. So I'm going to end up with 4 handfuls along the top. That's how I start, right? And it's nice and smooth. I'm going to turn it over, check it out, nice and smooth. And I'm going to keep moving along here. Another handful. And another row of 4 right across. Now I'm checking to make sure that each one of these handfuls has been picked and there's not any clumps in it. Okay, I tell you, the other secret to using loose Dacron is that you should have a heavier fabric. Lighter weight fabric like a silk or a cotton cloth might not work as well. Keep that in mind. So you might have to tell your customer, sorry, I can't use this. But I saw the fabric and I said, sure. So there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4 on my 3rd row. Very good. And then I have a 5th row of 4. Very therapeutic, you guys. If you're having a bad day, I suggest picking either horsehair or Dacron. You know, you can just kind of float away with the music.
Cue the music.
Cue the music. And then a 6th row, I'm going to start at the corner here, and then I'm going to go to the other corner and get my other corner before I go into the middle. Since they're going to take long, I didn't want this a long project. And then my 3rd handful and my 4th handful. There you go. Way to check it is just to pull it in there. It's going to be hand stitched down like that. I'll put a pin here in my wooden table here, and then I'm going to hand stitch this. And there you go. You have a loose Dacron throw pillow. Not bad. Hardly any lumps. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. I want to show you before I put my other stuff away. This goes with the bay window. So I'm going to show you this. And do we have any other questions while I'm
Yeah, we have a question.
stuffing away? We have a live question.
It says, this is from Pam.
Hey Pam, thank you for being such a good, supporter of the forum, Broadway Upholstery School forum on Facebook. Thank you.
I have a question about Z springs.
Uh-huh.
I keep seeing them in ottomans that I've taken apart.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on these?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan, Pam. I think that depending on what type of an ottoman it is, if it's a coffee table ottoman, I think it would be very unusual to see any type of a spring. I think what they do there is they web it and burlap it if they were smart. But I think ottomans, except I have an instructional ottoman to show you how to tie springs, maybe in that case it's okay, but that's coil spring, and you need a good frame in order to coil spring. That's what I recommend, coil springs. These other spring systems, I would rather just use webbing than these springs, these alternative springs. That's the answer. I would rather just use webbing and burlap. So this is a bay window cushion, and we stuffed this today actually. So I wouldn't attempt to stuff this live because this takes a little while to get it right, but I'm holding it straight like this. You can see how nice that is. The corners line up nice. So the customer's idea is to have that, and then she's going to have her 2 pillows. I have 2 pillows that are going to be on the back like this, one on either side. And probably I don't know what's out there. She's got a window that's probably overlooking a vast meadow or a beautiful pond or an ocean, something. So use your imagination. So let's move this aside. And I want to do one more thing before we get to some other segments, some of these questions for Jimmy. What I want to do is fill a cushion, but I want to show you the proper way to take the filling out. So in this case, for me, this cushion, it's a T cushion for sofa. There's another one to make up the entire length. There's one T here. So let's pretend like you're changing out the foam and you're keeping this cover. Okay, so we're going to pretend that, which we're not because we already made this cover, but I'm doing this for a reason because I want to show you how to take out filling without ruining the zipper. Just in case you're only replacing the foam in this. So you want to do the zipper, and always one person on a cushion at a time. If you've got a person that wants to jump in there to help you, usually what happens, that means you're going to break the zipper. What we're trying to do is save the zipper. We have another question.
This is from Erica.
Hi, Erica.
Are couch cushions stuffed, or are they foam inside the cover?
This one?
Doesn't specify.
Probably talking about this one. This actually has a nice filling. It's a foam filling. It's a medium foam, and they've got a wrapper Dacron on each side with a stitched muslin cover. So it's a pretty good cushion for a foam cushion. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just try to fold back the zipper just a little bit like this. Okay, and then I'm going to reach in my T side without putting strain on the zipper. I'm going to try to take the foam out of the T area, all right? Which I did, and then now you're tempted to pull this out all the way. Do we have a question in the audience? No, he's only scratching his head. Sorry,
No.
Jimmy. Do you have a question, Jimmy?
No, the reclining chair isn't working right now.
Erica says in general.
In general, the best ultimate Cadillac of all filling is springing it down on a seat. So on a seat cushion, springing down, and the down has to be 50-50 down feather and a Marshall unit in the interior, which is there's a little bit goes on with it's not just a spring that's covered with this envelope of down and feather. But there's very few companies in the world that know how to make a proper cushion.
So what do they use? Most of it's memory foam?
No, memory foam, I do not recommend memory foam. Memory foam is good for bedding or whatever, but not good for upholstery. It puts
Okay.
too much strain on the fabric. So for back cushions though, so you're talking about the Cadillac cushions. The back cushion, always on back cushions, not upholstered backs, but back cushions, loose back cushions, would be 50% down, 50% feather in a casing, and in a channeled casing. So that's the ultimate seating that I know of, and actually it ties into, Erica, what we're trying to do. Jimmy's trying to find the ultimate seating. We have this new segment which is coming up. Jimmy found another chair that's very interesting, which we have a tape of that, and we're going to get to that in a minute after I do this. But I'm trying to, it's a very, I have to hand it for Jimmy. He's very creative on where he finds some of this stuff. Not all, today he was in I won't give it away, we'll show it to you. But anyhow, let's continue with this. So with this, you attempt to just pull it out from one side, but after you pull it out from one side, go to the other side and just fold it a little bit. Try to also bring it out a little bit, okay? And then go back to the other side. So you're easing the cushion out, and it comes out without putting any strain on the zipper. Now, this particular job, I'm not saving the cushion. The customer doesn't want it back, so it's going to get thrown in the trash. But I just wanted to show you how to properly take it out, just in case you're redoing the cushion only. And you know, Erica, you can upgrade cushions. An upgrade to this cushion would be the springing down cushion. Okay, so let's get a new cover that I made today. Boy, it's been a busy day today. And I'll tell you another thing about cushion filling. You have your Wheaties in the morning. It takes a little, that bay window cushion, which I also filled today, it takes a little, energy to fill them. Let's put it that way. So what I'm going to do, again, you don't want a helper on this. Helpers break the zipper. Trust me, people want to jump in every time and try to help you. So what you want to do is, we have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to give this a karate chop. Fold it in half. Now, earlier we were doing something with Jimmy where our bear claws were getting in the way, but in this case it's going to help me. So I'm going to try to grab this with one hand, and if you can't do that, you can maybe tape this up, okay? But it's important to have it like this so that you can insert it into the cushion as far in as you can, and then let it kind of fall open. And then take your T first and see if you can, without putting a lot of pressure on the zipper. Again, you don't want to put pressure on the zipper. Try to work the T in, okay? And then go to the other side. Try to work that corner. Right now it looks like a mess, but it's not unfolded all the way. So what we're going to do is give it a push down. We're going to turn it over and give it a push that way, and then turn it over this way and another push in, okay? So that's the beginning. Okay, so now what you need to do is sit down, get a good position on this. Move our beautiful bentwood chair. We don't want anything to happen to that. That's going to the customer soon. I need to get proper angle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reach in, I'm going to take the corner of the foam, I'm going to push it to the corner of the fabric, watch. And at the same time, I'm holding this. I'm not pulling the zipper in a way that's going to break the zipper. Be very protective of your zipper. I'm pushing and pulling at the same time the fabric back. Try to get that corner lined up. Then I'm coming in here. I'm trying to do the same thing on this corner. Trying to get it to torque into shape. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, how do they do this at the factory? They have a machine that does this. So they have a machine that actually folds the cushion this way. It encases the cushion, not the cover, the cushion. Encases the cushion, closes it up. You close it up with these two metal doors, and then you crank. They probably have an electronic one. In the old days, we cranked it. And then it comes together, squishes the cushion together, and then you put the fabric over the machine, and you unwind it a little bit, and then there's a lever that pushes the filling into the fabric. It's wonderful. But unfortunately, most of you will never see one of these machines.
You don't have one, Kevin, in the back?
I wish I did. I wish I did. In some ways. Another way, you know, the machines that upholsterers used to have were not the ones the manufacturers had. Ones they had, I wouldn't advise it. They were a chiropractor's dream. Because that one had a pedal on it. And you would be standing over the machine and your right or left leg, whatever, your righty, lefty, and you would have to lift your leg up while you're bent over and then put this pressure on. Don't ever do that. You'll definitely pull your back out every time.
Yeah.
So it was a chiropractor's dream. I'm actually glad I don't have it. I'd rather do struggle this way than that way. So what I'm gonna do is take this side now and push into the corners. Push into the corners. And then I'm gonna give it a little shove in the middle here, holding on to the boxing and shoving. Again, I'm always aware of my zipper ends, because the zipper ends can pop open, so you don't want to put the pressure on. So I'm going to take a look at that. Boy, I'm liking the way that comes out. I'm going to take a little Dacron now, fill my corners out. Just give it a little pull this way. All right. I'm taking about a golf ball size of that loose Dacron, and I'm just filling my corners. I want to make sure those look good. I'm going to do this on both sides. Well, we're going to have a nice cushion there. I got to hurry up because we got a lot to go over with Jimmy, especially that segment. I'm really curious to see how he discovered this beautiful chair that he found. I'm happy with that. The last thing I'm going to do before I start the zipper is I'm taking my salvage, and my salvage has to go to my boxing like this. Okay? Makes for a better looking cushion. All right. Whew. Hey, I'm liking the job I did squaring up these cushions. Look how square this is. All the front corners, you guys. See that? I'm very proud of this cushion. Okay. So I'm going to turn it around to show you how to close this up now. So you have to spend some time, attention on the back too, so your salvage is down. So you have to reach in here at the same time you're zippering and pull your salvage down. See that? I'm going to flip this up to show you what I mean. That's the salvage. Okay? That has to be on the boxing or the zipper side of your cushion. Be aware of that when you're closing it up. See how I'm pushing my thumb in so the Dacron doesn't catch the zipper? And then my zipper slide goes underneath my little pocket that I made. And voila.
Wow.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Excellent.
Not bad, huh?
No, you made it perfectly shaped.
Isn't that nice?
Yes.
So let's put that aside. Now, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you, while you're sitting over there, we got some questions for Jimmy, but before we get to the questions, Patrick, could we roll, we've got some tape of Jimmy. Patrick?
Actually, I like the other one over there. But this'll work. Alright, sounds good to me. Kevin! How's it going?
Oh, how you doing, man?
Well, look what I found in somebody's basement, just sitting there having nothing to do, and it looks like a project for us.
Wow, I'm really excited about it, Jimmy, because I see right away that that has a nice frame. Put it down for a second. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, how did you pick this? Did you have choices in the middle?
You know what? I was actually going to pick another chair that was down in this gentleman's basement.
Uh-huh.
A little more smaller of a wing chair. But then I looked at this and I said, we haven't done something like this. I haven't done anything like
You
this.
did pretty good. I think your eye's telling you. You've got a Sheridan piece here. And I think it's one of the older ones because if you look at the bottom, look how wide the wood stock is on the bottom. The
Okay.
wood framing on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very distinguished as a Sheridan chair. It's a side chair and it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful side chair. It's not what we're looking for in that big, comfortable throne chair. I have a story for you guys in a little while,
Okay.
question and answer, but congratulations.
Okay.
I think it's a winner.
Okay, it's definitely be a project for
So
us.
what was this based on? Was it an upholsterer? Was it a refinisher? What was it? I
Well,
think we have you. I think we have a tape of you somewhere.
Yeah, well, you do, yes.
You didn't realize there was
If-
closed circuit TV going on in this.
Yeah, well, I didn't know security cameras kind of follow me everywhere. But no, this was an older gentleman. He happened to have a lot of projects downstairs. Accumulation of, Kevin, I mean, chairs and fabric, and I thought, my God, when I started going through the fabric, I was like, oh my God.
You get around, man. I think we picked the right person for this adventure. We send you out into the world and trying to find.
Well, just make
the
sure you
ultimate
call me
secret.
once in a while, tell me, Jim, are you okay? You know?
Yeah, because I would have hated to find out if you were falling down that basement. I would have hated that to happen.
Yeah,
We would have never found you.
a life of fabric and chairs just waiting for me. Has the tools, I would have been all set for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm glad you made it, and thanks for bringing it.
No.
Go ahead.
So, Jimmy, I think you did really better than the last couple of weeks with this chair. This is a
What do you
nice
mean
chair.
better?
I think you had a lot to choose from in that basement. And
Well, yeah, there was actually another chair I was looking at, and it seemed a little more attractive. I mean, it was a kind of a wingback, and I said, geez, it's almost stripped down to nothing. And I said, But then
what drew you in with that chair?
this one, definitely a different style.
Yeah.
Something I hadn't touched in a long time. I want to see how this one I've done wingback chairs before.
Right.
So I wanted to see how this one was.
Well, this is a beautiful side chair. It's a Sheridan, and it's got some beautiful craftsmanship on the wood.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the other part. I mean, you don't have too many. I mean, when you have a traditional like a wingback chair, you just basically have the legs, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But this has a little more style to it, especially on the legs and the front.
Yeah, it's going to make up nice as a piece, and so that's good. I was going to ask you, Jimmy. We got some questions for you. You're becoming very popular in these question and answers.
Alan, you mind?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the you
Yeah.
are
Is
the
it
apprentice.
time for my own show?
I don't know. There are spin-offs.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I don't think so.
People are curious. The first question I have is, how long have you been upholstering?
I think about 7 years, off and on.
Uh-huh.
7 years.
In that time frame, how many hours of actual bench time do you think you have if you add it all up?
Oh God, the class, few hundred.
A few hundred hours.
Yeah, a few hundred hours.
So let's say you've got 200 hours.
Okay.
200 hours of bench time. So I think they say to get good at anything,
Yeah.
you need, is it 12,000 hours?
What?
Yeah. No, you need a lot of hours to get
Oh my
good.
God,
I wouldn't,
yeah.
wouldn't use that to discourage anybody with, though, because 200 hours is a great start, and I think you for 200 hours, you're doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about that arts and crafts chair. But I think definitely in the beginning of anybody's, venture or crafts or skill, they need somebody that will train them. So that's what you get with us on the online classes. And I think the Ottoman, which looked easy, and I think somebody commented, oh, that was an easy job, just on the surface, they were talking about that.
Right.
Not so much. I mean, I had a slip seat. I was showing somebody how to do a slip seat at one of the classes, and that looks simple too. But if you've never been shown, it's
Like anything else, if you've never done something, add on a few more hours. Add on even sometimes twice the amount of the hours that something requires.
yeah. I mean,
Because everybody's on a just slightly different level of learning. And
that's right, and we're all different learners, so we try to work with all the types of learners, And I love upholstering, and I love teaching it, and I think that you're doing a great job in the arts. And do you want to talk a little bit about that arts and crafts chair, the surprises that we had in there?
well, I'm surprised that it was. I mean, the whole thing is, again, the chair is about 80 years old, and it's something that's been in my family for the last good 50 years anyway.
Right.
It was my uncle's chair. Now my mother had taken it from him, and I never realized how bad it was until the last 6 months or so. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "I wonder if I could do anything." Frame was loose. Material was really old. I mean, God knows it was so dated. And when when we stripped it down here in the class, I said, oh my God, I had no idea how bad it was.
Yeah, how bad it was, and then as time goes on, how much work there was. Now, that's currently, people are watching that. That's on Monday nights, right, Patrick?
So we have, there's 11 lessons.
There's
in this
11
year.
lessons in this.
So
Wow,
we're gonna have 2
that's-
lessons a week.
So we're going to have
For
2
6
lessons a
weeks.
week in this class for 6-week periods. So we're offering something now. You guys should check this out if you haven't, if you're not in there. Broadway Upholstery School online classes, and watch Jimmy do this arts and crafts. And you'd be surprised when you first look at this chair, you say, oh, how much could there be to learn? But there was a load of work on that. And what we try to do here, we don't necessarily take things down to the frame all the time. And I think in the case of that chair, it was a half and half thing. It needed to be restored in some areas and then reclaimed in others, or take it down to the frame, but the amount of content, I was surprised at some of the questions.
I sometimes wondered why it was taking so long, because they said, oh, the back, the front, take off the fabric, okay, new cotton, we re-webbed it, but the bottom of the chair itself was something I had never seen, and I think you can kind of explain that.
Well, we get into, what it was a Marshall unit contained within just the deck area, which was really interesting to me, how they did that, because the loose cushion sat on top.
Right.
And the seating area was higher than the decking area, but they wanted the comfort within the spring. So I recognized in that a very interesting spring system. I wanted to keep as much as possible of the original. So I approached things like that. Oftentimes, like that Victorian sofa that we just saw, I'm keeping some of the horsehair on those arms for historical reasons.
Okay.
But I'm keeping the integrity of those tufts. I had to replace, I handmade those buttons one at a time by myself to make sure that each button was strong enough to go on that. But I wanted to keep all of the original buttonholes in that. So,
I wish I was there to see how you did that, because I've never tufted any piece of furniture. It's come back. I've always looked at things, whether it be like a kind of even a fancy wingback chair, to say, oh, let me try this as a style. So I've never. I would
we
like
may
to
have
try
to show
do that.
instead of the soft tufting that we have. We're going to show some traditional stuff.
Okay.
I didn't be able to show it on that, but anyhow, not today.
Okay.
So we have another question. I guess this is a no-brainer. Do you like upholstering?
Oh God, yeah. I'm a arts and crafts type of guy. I mean, I never thought that the first project I did, which was a very simple chair, kind of like this one right next to me, I would be getting into it the way I did.
Right.
Because I remember the first time I did strip down the chair. Finally, after about 4 hours worth of oh my God, what am I doing here? Am I doing it right? And I asked you. I said, I remember, how many times do you think this has been done, Kevin? And you asked me, and I said 3, 4 times. You said what? 7.
7 times. It just goes to show you how well things are made today. So I'm going to look at the camera and ask if there's any questions. Feel free, you guys, to ask. There was something else.
I think you got to talk about, well, it ties into the thing we just showed with Jimmy. What's coming up on the YouTube channel?
Oh, on the YouTube
In the
channel. We're offering some fun things on the YouTube channel. In the spring, these chairs that Jimmy are finding, we're going to reupholster and then offer them for sale. It's just another way of trying to support the shop, I guess. But Jimmy's going to be more of he's going to take more of a side of like a spectator while I'm upholstering. So it's going to be a reversal of what we're doing now, where Jimmy's doing the bulk of the work and I'm telling him how to do
He's
it.
going to order you around.
But
He's going to be ordering me around and telling me what to do.
Oh well, when does that start?
So that's just what you said. You'd like to see it. You'd like to be able to. You'll be watching me live. doing
That's
the piece.
absolutely that's a treat.
So we'll be interested. It'd be interested to see how that goes. And at the end of it, it's going to be, if anybody out there wants to buy it, they can buy it. So we got another question here for Jimmy. We had a couple. Would you recommend an upholstery class to anybody?
Yes, when people say, "What do you do?" They found out outside interest in my job. I say, "Well, I do this and I do it." They say, "Upholstery, upholstery, really? I might have a piece. Wow, I'll have to keep you in mind." And I'm thinking like, oh, I just simply said something like, you know, something that I've been interested in for a long time,
Good,
you know?
good.
And I'm surprised. I mean, actually, the project that we're doing now, the chair, is one of my first clients.
Congratulations. So you're doing a chair on the online classes that you're gonna do for a client, or your own client, your first client.
My first client.
And you've been 200 hours into it.
Well, yes, it's been a little bit, you know, a lot. Again, this is a new style chair. It was the goose down back, goose down seat, which is something I've never dealt with before.
Right.
And I'm wondering, given the history of it, and me knowing nothing, how it all is going to kind of be formed again and be as, you know, sturdy as it's going to be.
We're trying to keep the integrity of the original design, and oftentimes the original design has spent a huge amount of time getting it right. So what you see today, like with that piece or any other really good quality pieces, they might have done prototypes. They might have done 100 prototypes before they said, okay, this is it. This is the way we want it.
Really?
Oh yeah, especially mid-century furniture. The mid-century furniture was engineered, even more engineered. But the old traditional furniture, the older furniture, that also was engineered. Although I don't think they called themselves engineers.
No, I think they were craftsmen.
Right, but they didn't just do one and then that was it. They did a few of them before they got it right. That includes all the filling that they use, the different types of fillings and everything.
So tell me, when I did this particular chair, I have the coconut fibers.
There's the coconut fiber.
Now that's not as strong as the horsehair.
No, but it's a good alternative.
Okay.
Somebody was asking where do you get coconut fibers, and I really didn't have a ready answer for that. I don't know where to get it. I know where to get horsehair can be available, but coconut fiber not so much.
Why? Because was that like a fad, or just kind of said, oh, this is the alternative?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. There were periods when they used hay, you know, and that was, I think, because of lack of anything else to use.
So.
But hay, I think, as far as an older type batting, is probably not the best.
Well, I think it would break down after.
It breaks down
real
pretty
quick. Yeah, so dry.
Yeah. And then coconut fiber was an alternative probably, and then horsehair was the best. But during the war, it's interesting when you take a piece apart that was made during World War II, where they really improvised on batting. You know,
really?
Cotton wasn't readily available.
Okay.
So I think a lot of what you see with hay came from the war period.
Okay.
When supplies weren't as ready, the ordinary supplies weren't as ready available. You know.
Okay.
So we have another question, Jimmy. I hope you don't mind. It's kind of a personal question. This is from Joan. Joan wants to know if you're single.
Are you serious?
I think that's more from Kevin than Joe.
No, she got me on. So it's just one of your secret admirers.
Really? A secret admirer? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Is she going to be the
She's
president?
borderline secret admirer stalker. I think there's a fine line between.
Oh my God. That's funny.
But you don't have to answer that question because
My
I know we don't want to put you on the spot at all.
I'm just kind of embarrassed and kind of like, oh my God, you're kidding.
That's okay. You can get back to us on that one.
Okay.
I think I already asked you what you like best about upholstery.
Well, you know what? I like I've done a variety of chairs. The one I did for my sister a few years ago. I've done a couple of wingback chairs, and now I'm back to the recent project with my first client and learning about now an 8-way tie, which is something I haven't done in a few years.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of interesting. I mean, it's always not one thing after another. It's the same old thing. I've gone through a variety of learning techniques and said,
Right.
wow, this is really great.
So you haven't really ventured into mid-century furniture. We have somebody over in the Lexington Arts and Crafts, and we're gonna present this in the future, either on the online classes. We're not sure. Either on the online classes, right, Patrick, or on YouTube. But
We've already filmed so much of it, and it might be more of an entertainment type thing rather than a class.
We have
Or
a
like
huge
an episode type
we
thing.
have a huge amount of content coming up that's going to last us well through the summer.
Okay.
And the thing about the classes over in Lexington Arts and Crafts is that we got such a wide variety of people, and projects. I mean, we have people from all over New England. We have people from Connecticut, from Rhode Island who take the class, and of course from Massachusetts. So, and we've had people come down from New Hampshire as far away almost on the Canadian border.
Yes.
You remember some people, and out west, New York, a couple of people. So
Well, South Shore, I remember a
South
few,
Shore.
yeah. I mean, it's amazing that the people, what amazed me was not their knowledge of it for me coming into the first class, but also how they retrieve some of their product.
yes,
I mean, other than having some things in their house, they actually knew enough to go around to certain cities and towns in the fine state of Massachusetts and decide on, oh, that's a chair for me. I'm going
Right.
to do that. I'm going
Right.
to do this.
right. But we drew the line. I think there was one guy who wanted to take an electric shaver and go to a horse farm and get some horsehair.
Really?
I said, you better not do that, because these people are very picky about their horses.
Yeah, exactly. They're
You know,
personal. Major
They
personal.
even have a special diet for these horses. Did you know that?
No, what
Oh,
is
you can't go around feeding horses apples and things like that. You just say you're driving down the street and you got a bunch of apples,
Right,
and you stop. Say that horse would enjoy that apple.
right.
You can't do that because they're on a special diet.
And
Oh?
that's a good question for Michaela. She's the horse expert.
Well, isn't that true about horses?
Well, they can be fed those things, but it's not good for them.
Really? After all those years of...
We've been fed a false bill of sales about apples and their horses and their love for apples.
Give him some pizza too while we're at it.
oh, major, bro.
Too much of those certain things.
What
are-
about
Yeah,
Beano?
beefaroni.
You know,
She's a Seinfeld
we can tell that
I
you...
remember, Pat, we were on the road trip.
Yeah.
We saw some horses, and you're like, can I give them this beef jerky?
Yeah,
Oh,
might as well.
Thought you could give a horse beef jerky.
and did you correct him?
I slapped him.
Because
Feverishly?
the horse owners that I've known carry pictures of their horses in their wallet. They
Yeah,
love
more than the
horses.
wife and kids.
Good thing anyone here isn't a veterinarian, because we'd be screwed.
Well, no, we know now. We've been taught not to feed these horses anything other than what they're eating, what the owner's giving them, right, Jimmy?
We'll just deal
Well,
with the hair.
you know
right
what,
there.
I always, I mean, anytime you'd ever see a movie, or you would talk to people, hey, give them an apple, it's always good, da-da-da-da, and now we know.
We know we can't do
That's
that.
why we'll draw the line at horse hair. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah, and beef jerky, Patrick.
Jimmy, Patrick, is there anything I haven't covered?
Well, I think that's it. I mean, what we've pretty much been talking about today is going to be turned into a series on YouTube. That's what I'm even looking forward to that. It's going
Got
to
a
be
good
like
series coming up, and hopefully it'll be entertaining.
furniture finders. I think.
Furniture finder, where Jimmy's and I will be going out sometime, and
It's going to be like a reality TV.
After we have lunch.
one of the first episodes, Jimmy, is going to be.
We have some good ideas.
We have some good ideas. I'm going to reveal something. I think what we're going to do is wait for a major New England storm, a good storm,
Yeah,
a coastal storm, ideally, where the waves are big, and we're going to go beach combing to see. Because, they find ships on...
we can go to Hampton Beach and enjoy the day.
We
What do we have
can, we
to-
can enjoy the day, as long as the waves don't sweep us away.
Oh.
But one of our first things is to venture on the beach to find anything that we can upholster. I can't avoid, we'll find something, hopefully.
Okay,
So that will be upcoming.
I guess the moving truck thing didn't work out.
But we're going to be traveling around with our crew, and we're going to be going to different
Do we have to
venues.
feed him too? I mean,
We have to
course.
feed. We have to feed everybody. Maybe we'll feed them some beefaroni.
yeah, we'll give him the beef jerky in the back. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
But anyhow,
But now the whole fun of it is you're going to see the transformation of the piece
Yeah.
live on YouTube,
Right.
week to week. You'll be able to follow episodes, and then at the end, if anyone's interested, it will be.
well, I think
for
it's going
sale,
to be
so-
fun. And it's going to be.
You're going to
for
know what
sale.
you're getting. So
I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
it's going to be cool.
I think it'll be fun. So you guys stay tuned for that. And thanks everybody for watching. And thanks Jimmy for taking the time.
Not a
and
problem.
Our camera person and Patrick. And here we go. We'll see you next time.
Perfect.